Welcome to Pathway to Peace with Terry McIntosh. I'm Gary Morris. This is a timely message in search of a positive truth that brings healing, peace, and safety to the individual as well as the entire nation.
Hello, Saints. This is Terry McIntosh. If you're not familiar with us, go to the YouTube search engine and in their search bar, put in Pathway to Peace with Terry McIntosh, and that should pull up our various video presentations of the radio programs, and you can review anything that we've presented thus far. And today we want to talk about Satan's master plan. Now, sometimes we talk like Satan is accurately represented by the comic character of a two-horned, smiling little devil with a pitchfork in his hand. And we blame every bad thing that happens to us on Satan, although he is limited in scope and ability. But we do it as if he's decided to focus on us personally. We're the most important thing in the universe, so he's coming after us. We're often our own worst enemy. But if we think of Satan that way, it relieves us of personal responsibility. Good versus bad. We attribute all good things to God and all bad things to Satan. But now, Saints, you likely know that's dead wrong. It is far removed from what the Bible teaches. Now, many times what we consider bad is God at work to do good, and we just don't discern it. Many times what appears good is Satan at work to bait and deceive. The Bible warns us that Satan is clever and very powerful. He's a master at disguise, even appearing as an angel of light many times. He's not an angel of light, and there are angels of light, but Satan only disguises himself as such. Quote, 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14, "And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light." End quote. A simple perspective of Satan pits a jealous, angry being tossed out of heaven because of pride. He spends all the time he has left to hurt God's people and distort the truth, all in an effort to mislead humanity away from Christ. He's the author of war and confusion worldwide. He inflicts disease and harms without cause to afflict humanity, and all because he hates God. He is a bad, bad dude. He's against everything God stands for. Now, granted, that is true, but very shallow when it comes to describing Satan and his masterful plan. Well, okay, McIntosh know it all. What's the plan? First of all, let's be clear about who Satan is. That's not his name. It's an adjective meaning adversary. It can also be used as a title. His name, as we ascertain, is Lucifer. According to the Bible story, he was a powerful archangel who wanted ultimate power for himself. He rebelled against God and therefore fell from heaven. Jesus witnessed his fall to earth. Quote, Luke 10, verse 18, "And he said unto them," that is Jesus speaking, "and he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven." End quote. Oh yeah, he's here all right. Lucifer means light bearer. And if we apply Isaiah 14 to Satan, and I do, in the beginning he was an angel created in perfection and beauty. Angels were either given a will with a free moral choice, or, as some like to believe, was created to perform evil tasks to accomplish God's will. Therefore, Lucifer chose to do evil, or was created to do evil. I'm not going to tackle that today either way. But he was full of pride regardless, and he wanted to be like the Creator God. Quote, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will set also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." End quote. It's Isaiah 14, 12 through 15. Lucifer rebelled and was cast out of heaven to the earth because of his prideful sin. His present domain is limited to the earth. If we apply Ezekiel 28, 12 through 19 to Satan, we see Lucifer full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. He was in Eden, the garden of God. He was the anointed cherub who attended on God. That saint is a coveted position. Lucifer was not a kingdom flunky. Lucifer was the first created being to exercise his will against God. And since that time, others have followed. Satan caused a third of heaven to fall with him by influencing other angelic beings to make war against God. Check that out in Revelation chapter 12, verse 4. They too were cast out of heaven. They now roam the earth with Satan as their leader and master. These supernatural beings still have power, and Satan is ruling in the earth today. Not only over the evil spirits, but also over evil men who choose the same path of rebellion against God. Satan is the dark prince of this world. He has only limited power, but nevertheless, he does have power. And those who do not know him and his devices will become and do become his victims. His scheme unfolds while the world blindly accepts it. We're like the frog sitting in a tub of water. Satan is gradually increasing the heat and will scald us to death unless we jump out of the tub. That won't happen if we judge what's going on by the temperature of the water. We get used to the gradual increase of heat and don't recognize it as a threat. Then wham! We're dead in the water. The analogy leads me to the next point of this episode. Satan is clever. He has a worldview and plan that is shaping up in front of our eyes even today. Yet we don't see it. What, pray tell, am I saying? Satan proved to be a persuasive liar in the garden. Quote, Genesis 3, 1 through 24 is where you find it. But he convinced Eve to disobey God. And we know how that turned out, don't we? It started with a lie. And he builds on deception today. Now, there is so much to say, but let me get to the point. I'm persuaded that Satan's plan is much bigger than just hurting God. He still wants to be like God. He has power on earth to distribute power and wealth to others. Quote, Matthew chapter 4, verse 8. Again, the devil took him, and in context, him is Jesus. Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. All this I will give you, he said, if you will bow down and worship me. End quote. Satan is still working in and through people today for a single purpose. That is to prove that humanity can live happy and successful lives without God. That would be his ultimate triumph. By so doing, he can prove that God's a liar, that the blood of Jesus was not necessary. That is Satan's ultimate goal. He utilizes common, taken for granted things we live with daily to further that goal. He's in our politics, the news media, and the church. Any lie, any diversion that detracts from the cross is fine with him. I don't think he is behind every war, every disease, and every bad thing that happens on the world stage. Of course, yes, he will utilize those tactics when it serves his purpose, but in general, Satan seeks to establish peace on earth without God. When war breaks out, it is often a failure in Satan's scheme. I'll bet he gets mad at humans. He wants humanity under one umbrella. He He is using a false sense of morality, among other things, to bring it about. He is slowly but surely brainwashing humanity into his way of thinking. He uses religion to further that goal. We see him turning society toward a false version of Christ. Oh yes, he is a clever operator, and even the wise stumble. The future bodes dark for humanity, but our descendants will think they live in the light. Technology is advancing rapidly, and within a few years, you and I won't recognize the world we grew up in. It's getting dimmer even now. While technology is good, it can be and is used for evil purpose. Satan uses it now and will use it to foster wrong beliefs about morality, God, and what's good for humanity. Quote, 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 9, "The coming of the lawless one will be in accordance with how Satan works. He will use all sorts of displays of power through signs and wonders that serve the lie." End quote. False signs and wonders are not a reference to just supernatural miracles, but to the greater deception wrought through technology. The water gets hotter and we love it, don't we? I appreciate and enjoy the benefit of advancing technology, but watch out, Saint. Artificial intelligence is part of the plan. Machines are programmed to think like a human and mimic the way a person acts. The military complex wants to open channels between the human brain and modern electronics. The U.S. military's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, called DARPA, has unveiled a research program called Neural Engineering System Design, or NESD. It aims to develop an implantable neural interface connecting humans directly to computers. I believe they've already done it. We'll learn about it 15, 20 years from now, but I believe they're doing it now. And that's just the beginning, Saint. Plans are to turn human beings into cyborgs with organic and artificial body parts. Look, we've seen this on our sci-fi channels, but it's a reality coming into place, and it's part of Satan's plan. It's a reality being experimented on right now. Satan fuses the Bible promise of immortality with that of man in a natural sense. Spokespeople, and I've heard one of them personally, use the Bible to justify it. It is man's way, Satan's way, to attain immortality without God, and they will use the name of God to do it. It's called practical transhumanism. No time to discuss it in detail, but it's coming and it's dangerous. It will become the norm. The Christian world is well advised to jump out of the tub. It will make life hard for those who do, and many will stumble during the resistance. But we must reject such heresy and attempts to attain immortality through a natural process. Satan's plan is manifesting. The church will be duped by it largely because we're already in the tub and we like it. It's an easy step to the next level of deception. That's it, Saints. I got to go. Email me at info@usajourney.us. My time's up. McIntosh out.
You can write us at Post Office Box 766, Paducah, Kentucky 42002, USA. That's Post Office Box 766, Paducah. That's spelled P-A-D-U-C-A-H, Paducah, Kentucky 42002, USA.